Suffering is inevitable. You will go through painful situations, but you don't need to suffer all the time. And in this episode, I'm going to tell you why you're suffering, and I'm going to tell you how you can ease your suffering. Hi, my name is Greta, and welcome to my podcast. There's so much suffering in this world, emotional and physical. I feel like a lot of the times we don't know how to deal with this pain. And a lot of the times it can take a huge toll on us. I'm here to tell you the wisdom of the universe and the wisdom of human psychology to help you understand yourself better and to understand maybe this world a bit better. Go through all of the stages of grief. Sometimes when something happens in our lives, a breakup, a death, a betrayal, our first instinct is to survive. So what we do is we run away from these very intense emotions because they're very intense. But what you actually need to do is feel these emotions. And I talk about it in all of my podcast episodes, and I will talk about it because it's very important. There are some situations in your life where you go over these 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And there are some situations where you pass through some points, but there are some situations where you feel this grief so deeply. And sometimes you go to the stage 3 and come back to the stage 1 and go to the stage 4 and come back to the stage 2. It can be also that, it's not linear. Healing is not linear. That's also a thing you need to remember. Healing is not linear. Just because it's been half year or whatever, or a year or 5 years since the situation is happening, you think you have healed from the situation, then something again presents you that you haven't healed completely. There are still some parts of you that need some reprogramming, that need some acceptance, that need some surrendering. Healing is not linear. This is why, as the first thing I'm talking about, because it is so important. I'm the kind of person, I don't like feeling sad. I don't like feeling negative. I don't like pain. I don't like suffering. But this world is giving me a lot of that. And as much as I've always wanted to stay positive and optimistic, what I actually did is I was suppressing this grief inside of me. I was suppressing, and it was coming out in the moments where I wasn't even expecting it to come out. My therapist always tells me sometimes it takes months and sometimes it takes years to grieve a situation. So don't rush yourself. You may be stuck in one phase, in anger or denial. That's okay. That's okay. There will be a moment where you will move to another phase. Feel it all, because there is gold in these emotions that you're feeling. Even if it doesn't seem like that, there is. There's a lot of lessons. There's a lot of pain that needs to be felt. So feel it. I want to add something about karma. There's stuff that we need to learn from this life. We did someone wrong, then karma came back to us, and now we're hurting, and now we need to pay our karma, okay? A lot of the times I'm like, I don't deserve this suffering. I don't deserve feeling this immense pain. But there's this thing about karma. You do deserve. And that can be very triggering to hear for a lot of people, but you do deserve everything that you're going through. There's something that you did in your past life. There's something that happened in your past lives that now you're paying for it. You have no idea, why was I born in this family? I did not have a choice as a baby how I'm going to be treated. If I'm going to be loved, protected, supported, I didn't have a choice. I did not deserve this pain. But that's how karma works. And it's very fair. And you will get everything back. From Hinduism, because karma comes from Hinduism, everything that you do in this life, 50% you get in this life back, and 50% you will pay in your next life. Things that were like, it doesn't make any sense that I'm just going through it. Understand that this is some type of karma that you are paying. And why I love this theory so much, and yes, it is highly triggering to a lot of people, but why I love this theory so much, because I take accountability for my own path. I stop placing blame onto other people. I stopped placing blame onto myself or onto my parents or look how they gave me childhood traumas. What it actually does, it just keeps the energy going. It doesn't heal you to place blame on someone else. It does not heal you to place blame on yourself. There's the saying, if you're putting blame on someone else, you're very far away. If you're putting blame onto you, you're still far. If you're not blaming anyone, then you're on the right track. Life is fair, and karma is fair. And that's the way it is. And believe me, I know pain. I've been through the pits of hell. I've been through where I didn't even know that rock bottom had a basement that had a basement that had a basement that had a rock bottom, okay? And I've been there, knowing that this is my karma that I need to pay. Whatever my spirit did in my previous lives. If I don't pay it now, if I don't heal it now, if I don't take accountability now, then I will repeat the same mistake over and over and over again. The biggest part of healing is feeling. So feel all these emotions. The last part of 5 stages of grief is acceptance. And I will touch on acceptance later on this video because it's immensely important in your journey and it will save you. A lot of the times why people keep suffering is because they keep pushing away their feelings. I know they're very strong and I know it's very hard to sit with them. But no one is going to do it for you. No one is going to save you. Okay? No one is going to feel those feelings for you. No one. So take matters into your own hands. Sit down and cry and cry and cry and let it all out. And stop blaming everyone else for your own actions. This is your karma. This is what you need to go through to elevate and to grow. I know it's hard to understand and I know it's hard to accept, but that frees you. Once you understand, okay, I have the power. Because when you blame other people, you give them the power. That they have the power to control your life or your feeling or impact your future or whatever it is. When you blame yourself, you think that you're not deserving of good things. When you don't blame no one, when you accept the situation as it is, then you're free. This is the key, okay? That's why I talk so much about feeling your feelings because it is that important. What's also very important is to stay neutral and grounded as much as you possibly can. Stay grounded, meditate, journal, walk, be in nature, touch grass, do all those things. Stay grounded, stay neutral, because I will talk from my experience now, is when I'm going through grief and I'm in that part of anger. If I don't have closure from this person that I had something with, a lot of the times what this anger will do is kind of consume me and I will throw fire. I will do it publicly. I will call you out publicly. I will do everything I need to get this anger out. And only now I'm learning how to use this anger to feel, to create, to express myself, to discover myself. I'm fueling this pain into power. Go through these stages and let yourself go through them. And let yourself admit that you are in the denial stage. You're in the first stage. It's okay because you may pass some stages and maybe you won't. Maybe you need to go through all of them. But everything is working out for you. There's a reason why you've been given this situation. Either it's a blessing in disguise or it's your karma. So no matter what, everything is working for you. 99.9% of your thoughts are not even your thoughts. Why is this so important to understand? Because we let dictate our thoughts or emotions, therefore our physical reality. Once we understand that our thoughts are not our thoughts. What we can do is step back and be the observer of our thoughts. That's when you have changed the game. A lot of suffering comes from our thoughts. And you might ask me, how are my thoughts not even my thoughts? First, culture, the culture that you come from, the media that you consume, your family, and your conditioning. Why a group of people think this one way and a group of people think the other way, even though they watch the same media, they have the same culture? Because their conditioning has been different. You need to understand that so much of your thoughts, why you think you're not deserving of good things, why you think you're not worthy, why do you think that you don't love yourself, that you're not beautiful? It's not because you don't think that way, because your soul thinks you're the most beautiful person ever. Your soul thinks that you're the most deserving of all the beautiful things. Your soul thinks that you're worthy of the most precious, the most unconditional love. But your brain says otherwise. Why is that? Because someone, somewhere along the line, has repeated to you again and again and again. And maybe it's not been very literal, maybe it's been very subconscious. And not to blame those people also have gotten that knowledge from their conditioning, and they're just giving their conditioning to you. It's a chain reaction. And if you don't reprogram this conditioning, you will give this condition to your children, to your immediate people in your life. Someone somewhere along the lines has said to you that you are not worthy, that you will not achieve anything in life, that you cannot balance spirituality with materialistic things, that you cannot balance love with money. And all of these things, you're constantly struggling. You're constantly like in this fight with your spirit. Your mind is constantly in fight with your spirit. Because your spirit says, no, 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 you are worthy, you are deserving, you are lovable. Every being in you is lovable. Yet your mind says, no, I cannot have this partner because they're too good to me. Who said that? Who said that? Because your soul didn't say that. Someone somewhere along the line has repeated to you this conditioning. It is conditioning. No, it's not that you don't love yourself. You do love yourself. You do anything to protect yourself. So why are other things different? Why can't you be a millionaire? Because other people in your family line haven't been. Why? Almost all of your thoughts come from your conditioning. Once you understand that, you stop taking your thoughts so seriously. Once you understand that, you're like, wait, why was I just thinking that I'm not worthy of this job? That I'm not worthy of this person? That I'm not worthy of this relationship? That I'm not worthy of riches and abundance and all of that? Who told me that? And it's not about who told me that. It's about what I can do to reprogram my mind. What can I say to myself differently and repeat it to myself again and again and again that I start to believe in my own truth? And this is the moment where you can start reprogramming your mind. Once you understand that everything is conditioning, then you can reprogram your mind. The more I listen actually to like what my thoughts are saying to me, the more I understand that, oh, these are actually some of my addictions speaking, or these are my family members speaking, or this is the media that speak. Maybe 1% is your original thoughts, and they're not even original. It all comes from the source. It all comes from the universe. Everything that you think has already been thought. I think the only way you can be original in your thoughts is when you're purely channeling the universe. And even then, it's not yours to keep. it's universes. That puts everything you have ever thought in perspective. Again, highly triggering, I know. But listen, if you want to grow, if you want to reprogram your mind, if you want a better life than your parents did, than your grandparents did, than your environment did, than your culture did, you need to reprogram your mind. You need to heal yourself first. You're not going to save anybody. You can only save yourself. Curate your content. Curate everything that you watch, everything that you put in your brain. And that goes with that our thoughts are not really your thoughts. Because have you noticed that you watch a show and then you kind of obsessed with the show, and then it's kind of like you're ruminating about the show, and it's like circling in your mind, and different theories that they talked about in the show, and different things that they talked about in the show, and some perspectives may have shifted because of this show that you watched. Or you suddenly found a new music artist, and suddenly again new perspectives, new things that you're thinking about, and that can be very beneficial, but that can also be very degradational. Is that a word? I don't know. I have curated my content like it's TikTok for you page. Okay, everything I see on my Instagram stories. I unfollowed people I don't want to see, that are not inspiring me, that are not motivating me, that are not giving anything. They're not bringing anything to the table. They're not giving me any value. I've unfollowed them. I don't need trash. That doesn't mean I don't watch brain rot. Okay, that doesn't mean I don't watch shows that are like, I love sitcoms, but there's not much space that I give to those things. Most of my content is very curated. The music that you listen to, oh my god, music is so powerful. If you want to program your mind, the most effective way is music. Let me tell you a prime example of this. In episode 1, I was a bit talking about my life journey and when I was depressed and all these things. One of the things that saved me was music. You know what I did? And that's what I do in every era. If I want to feel confident, I make a new playlist. If I want to feel more happy, I make new playlist. If I want to manifest something, I make a new playlist. So at that time, year ago, I was going through it. I was not feeling good. And for the first time, when I was first going through like this very, very intense grief, I couldn't listen to music at all. Any kind of music, I just didn't listen to it. Because I was listening to old songs, and you know how sometimes you put an old song that you haven't listened to for 5-10 years, and it instantly takes you back to that moment. Why is that? Because music is powerful. I made a new playlist. I called it New Era or something. And there was this one song that I listened to every day. Every day, just on repeat. I listened to many of these songs, but on the playlist. But there was this one song by Gene Aiko, Calm and Patient. This song single-handedly put me out of my misery so many days and nights where I wanted to give up. This song always put me back. I'm so grateful to this song and that it was in my life in this particular moment. When I'm sad, I don't listen to sad music. Okay, there has been times where I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm sad and I really want to cry it out, and then I put sad music and thinking that it's gonna help, but it doesn't really help. It just puts me deeper into misery. And thank you, but I don't want to feel deeper into misery. I'm already miserable in this moment, okay? So all I want to do is just feel these emotions. So just feel them emotions. Another thing why you're suffering is because what are you putting consciously in your brain? Yes, there are things that have been put in your brain from conditioning, okay? Feelings of not worthiness and not being lovable and all of these things. But there is also big part that comes from the media that you consume. What is the music that you are listening to? Is it making you sad? Is it making you depressed? Or is it making you feel joy, feel peace? I stopped listening to low vibrational music, which is The Weekend and other artists that talk about like drugs and sex and all of these things that are very degrading. I don't know if that's a word. I don't listen to that type of music because what is it gonna do for me? Okay, yes, I'm gonna feel like a gangster for 5 minutes, but that's gonna lower my vibration because now I'm like, yes, I think I'm better than everybody and all of these things. Like when I listen to this kind of music, I can almost feel my energy getting down. I can feel my vibrations getting lower. When I listen to high vibrational music, that's why I love Ariana because she has lots of great high vibrational music. I can feel my spirits lift up. I can feel my confidence lift up. Some songs that I listened to when I was 16, 17, 18, when I listen back to them, I'm like, I literally manifested this into my life. And it's some things are so specific. Some songs are so specific that I listen to on repeat for a year, 2, 3 years that have now manifested in my reality. Music is programming. Be very careful what you listen to. Curate your music. Create a new playlist. Create a playlist how you want to feel. If you want to manifest something, create a playlist for it. Watch magic happen. Like, I cannot stress this enough how important music is and how much it impacts you. Stop fueling your own suffering. I touched on this with the music part, you know. A lot of the times we fuel our own suffering. We do. We put the sad music on. We talk about the same situation over and over again. We ruminate on the same situation over and over again. We push away the feelings that need to be felt. We constantly get into these fights with other people or with our mind. We are constantly fueling our own suffering. And this is the thing that I've been trying to master. I've realized how much I have poured into my own suffering. I didn't have to suffer that much. But because I was like, I'm blaming these people for what they did to me, and I'm blaming the circumstances, and I'm blaming the universe for putting me in these situations, and all of these things. What I was doing, I was fueling my own suffering by constantly replaying it over and over and over and over and over and over again in my mind. And sometimes you just need to say to yourself, from this moment on, I stop fueling my own suffering. From this moment on, I'm accepting what is and I'm surrendering. And I'm no longer fueling my own suffering. This is very, very important. Notice in what ways you are pouring suffering into your life. In what ways you are blaming yourself, shaming yourself, guilting yourself. Notice that. In what ways you are blaming others, guilting others, shaming others. Notice that. That's how you're fueling your suffering. By comparing yourself to other people, you're pouring into that suffering. Grass is only green where you water it. So start watering your growth. Start watering your peace, your love, your own temple of mind, body, and soul. You're watching these people thinking like, oh, I need to have this, I need to do that. No. Maybe if you would do that, you would absolutely hate that. Maybe if you would have that, you wouldn't know what to do with that. Grass is green only where you water it. And that's a fact. Not taking things personal is the key. When I first read the book, The Four Agreements, they talked about this specific thing. Why taking things personal is ruining your life, makes you suffer. That changed my whole brain chemistry. There was this one story in Buddhism. There was this Buddha that was giving a lecture. A man comes in, barges in, saying something, what you're saying is fake, whatever. Buddha doesn't even look at him, just continues its lecture. The man starts to get angry. Why are you not listening to me? I'm saying that what you're talking about is fake, that all it is fake and all la 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 yappa yappa yappa, right? Buddha still doesn't say anything, continues on its lecture. This man gets very angry, starts disrupting everyone's lecture, starts screaming, "Why are you not listening to me? Don't you know that I'm talking with you? I don't believe a word that you say, and they shouldn't believe a word that you say because this is all fake and all these things. And why are you not replying anything to me?" And Buddha looks at him and says, "If you have an apple in your hands and you give me that apple, whose apple is it?" The man says, "Well, it's your apple. I gave it to you." Says, "Yes, correct. If you have an apple in your hands, but I don't take your apple, whose apple is it?" And the man says, "It's my apple." And the Buddha says, "Exactly." And that's the same with words. When you take other people's words as your own, that means you're taking their poison as your own. When I don't take your poison, that poison stays with you, and that poison doesn't belong to me. Just blew my mind. It put everything into perspective. It's only true in your reality once you accept it in your reality. And when we take things personally, that means we accept the things that other people is trying to project to us, is trying to give us. When we take that personally, that means we're taking their poison and we're making it now our poison. Now it's my poison. If I don't take your poison, it's your poison and you're keeping that poison. And it has nothing to do with me. You can be talking about, yes, this is your poison, this is your poison. But whose poison it is if it's still in your hands? I have not taken it in my hands. I have not accepted that as my reality. So whose poison is it? A lot of the times we want to defend ourselves. Okay, when someone speaks lies about us or whatever. There was this one situation where, I'm not gonna say who or anything, but this one person posted on social media a video about me, completely lying on my name. And I could have gone and defended myself and be like, "No, why are you talking about this? Is not true," and all these things. But what would that do is that I would take their poison as mine, and now it's also my poison. What I did is absolutely nothing. I did absolutely nothing. I didn't react in any way. I did not say anything. I did absolutely nothing. And not once I've carried that poison. That poison is still that person's poison. Because I know it's not true. I know that whatever they said is complete lies. It only becomes true once you take that poison. And I could have taken this situation personally. I could have taken, like, "Why are you talking shit about me? Why are you talking bad about my name? Why are you trying to ruin my reputation? La 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 yappa yappa yappa." But that wouldn't do anything to me. Absolutely anything. I would just be taking their poison. And now that person has to live with the things that they put out, knowing that I gave zero reaction to that. When 90% of the times, 99.9% of the times, what people are trying to do is trying to gain a reaction from you. They will do anything to give you that poison. They will do anything for you to take that poison as your own because it's hard to carry. And you have that power to just not take it, to just not react in any way. When we take things personal, it's kind of selfish in a way. It's selfish to think that this person would do so much for me in any way, in negative, positive, any way. The truth is, everything is conditional. Everything is conditional on this earth. The only unconditional thing is maybe mother and kid. And even that, majority of people is still conditional. When people do you wrong, that means that comes out of them. It's not something that you did, not something that you said. It's something that came out of them, and it's their responsibility to deal with it, you know? There was this one situation that happened to me recently, and I'm talking to my therapist about it, and I'm saying I don't understand, I love this person so much, like how could this person do this to me? And she says, well, that says a lot about this person and not about you. So when we take things personal, we almost try to carry that person's lessons, that person's karma, whatever, because we are hurt. And the reality is that it is what it is. The reality is that there's a reason why this situation has been brought up into your life. There's a reason why you need to heal from these things. There's a reason why this pattern is repeating. There is a reason for everything. It's not to hurt you, because everything is working for you. And that is the thing what I also mentioned in this episode about not blaming anyone. When you're not taking things personal, that means you're not blaming yourself, you're not blaming anyone else. It just is what it is. And it's radical acceptance. Once you consciously master not taking things personal, these can be very small things. These can be big things. For example, your friend forgot that you're meeting today. They were busy. Like, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. Stop taking things personal. That's where you're fueling your own suffering, is when you take things personal. It will free you. Not taking things personal will free you. This will help you get away from any suffering. Because let me tell you, most of our suffering comes from taking things personal. So start mastering detachment. Start mastering not taking things personal. Expectations will be the death of you. When you expect anything from anyone, when you expect certain things to turn out a certain way, be ready for disappointment. Because let me tell you, nothing will happen how you expect it to happen. Expectations will be the death of you, especially in relationships. When I first started talking with my now partner that I have, I told them, if you put any expectations on who you think I am or who you think I should be, it's not my responsibility to live up to those expectations, so you might as well right now be disappointed. Your expectations are none of my responsibility, as my expectations of you are none of your responsibility. I don't put expectations on the people that I'm with. I don't put expectations for them to behave a certain way, to say certain things, to act a certain way, because I'm not them. And what we're doing when we're expecting things from people is that we want them to act how we will act. But the reality is that no one is us. No one is me. Just because I would do it differently, I would say it differently, I would behave differently, doesn't mean that that person would do the same. 99% of the times they won't. If you're constantly putting up expectations, my partner needs to be this and needs to do that. No, what you need to do is accept the person. Yes, you can have standards, but if you're putting expectations on these standards, you expect this person to reach these standards, you will be damned. When my partner came into my life, immediately they exceeded all of my standards. Immediately. I knew that this is who this person is, and I do not need to expect them to reach my standards because they already have reached my standard. So I don't put any expectations on anyone, and even myself. I don't put expectations on myself because I'm constantly changing, I'm constantly evolving, and that's other people as well. They're also constantly changing, they're also constantly evolving. So when you expect someone to act a certain way, then you're fueling your own suffering. When you can accept people as they are, you will escape a lot of suffering. Radical acceptance is freedom. All of these things that I just mentioned, all of these points that I just mentioned in this video leads to radical acceptance. Radical acceptance of your conditioning, radical acceptance of your own grief, of your own feelings, radical acceptance of your own faults and what you have done wrong, and in your own karma, radical acceptance of the situation that you are in, radical acceptance of the people around you. That will free you. That is just a fact. And that is one of the universe laws. If you want to be in a continuous flow, when you want to feel like life is very easy, opportunities come for you, all of these things happen, everything is great, that is when you're in a state of flow. How to get a state of flow is being in radical acceptance, accepting everything, everyone radically. You're constantly trying to find reasons. Why is this happening to me? Why is this? Why is that? La 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 la. The lesson will present to you. The blessing will present to you. Okay? Everything that you need to know, it will come to you at the right moment, at the right time. It will. It will, no matter what. It will. What you need to do is accept. Literally just say to yourself, I accept the situation that I'm in right now. I accept that this person is not who I thought it was. I accept that they chose someone else. When you accept that, you get into the state of flow. There is no suffering when you're in radical acceptance. And that's a fact. There is no suffering when you are in radical acceptance, when you can accept anything that happens into your life, anything that comes into your life, any curveball, when you can radically accept anything, then you're free. I will do another video about our soul's journey. It talks about like soul contracts that we make with people, why some people come into your life and then just like crash you down in short period of time, or something big happens, explosion happens with people, or how our soul about death and about all of these things. It's very, very interesting. Will put also a lot of perspective onto our lives and how we understand our lives and how we live our lives. Just understanding my own self journey has led me to a lot of radical acceptance. That's why when I was talking about karma, sometimes when things happen to me, I'm not like, of course, don't get me wrong, of course I'm like, no, why is this happening to me? This is like the worst thing ever. Like, how could you ever, universe, how could you ever, But then I'm like, okay, I've gone through my anger, I've gone through my sadness. I'm like, okay, there's nothing I can do anymore. All I can do is accept the fact that this has already happened. I cannot turn back time. Okay? You cannot turn back time and go back in time. You cannot fast forward to future where everything is nice and cool and pretty and peaceful. You are right here, right now, and that's all you are. So take radical acceptance. Continuously affirm in your mind, I accept this grief, I accept these emotions, I accept this reality of whatever it is. You know why a lot of people are afraid of taking a radical acceptance? Because it feels like you're giving up. That's why it's very hard, because it feels like you're giving up. What do you mean I'm not gonna fight? This person was very, very important to me. What do you mean I have to accept that we have broken up? What do you mean I have to accept that this person betrayed me? But what you're actually doing is you're letting go. And you're allowing yourself to move on to better things, to move on to things that are actually meant for you, for your spirit, and for your highest path. When you're in radical acceptance, when you accept the situation as it is, that means you allow yourself to move on. You allow yourself to step into your own power, to stop suffering, okay? When you allow yourself to accept the situation that you are in, you stop suffering. This is a very, very powerful episode, as per usual. There's a lot of points I still want to touch on, and that's when I think that will be with every episode. I'm so grateful that, and I say this also in every episode, but I am so grateful that you watch me. And I've received so many messages from you guys. And actually, one of you guys has inspired me to do this exact episode. I gained so much inspiration from you guys. I gained so much motivation from you guys. I am so incredibly proud of myself, and I'm incredibly proud of you, because there's a reason why you've been led to this channel. There's a reason why you have watched this video. There is a reason why you're here and why you have led to me. There's not a lot of people that watch my stuff. There's not a lot of people that watch these YouTube videos, that watch this podcast. So if you have watched it, that means that universe is speaking through me. And I always ask universe, please speak through me, so the right people can hear the right message. So maybe this message is for you. I can almost feel the energy that you're giving me right now through the screen. Even though you're watching in the future, time is not linear and all of these things. I will get to that later on, but oh my god, like I'm tearing up right now. Well, I can almost like feel it, you know. I've prayed for listeners, for a community like this, and each day you show up and you show me how powerful you all are. And I'm just so grateful that I'm creating this community, and we will get bigger and better. I'm so excited to see how and where it's gonna go, because I don't know. My favorite quote is, one thing that I know is that I don't know anything. Okay? I am always ever expanding. So you guys even teach me a lot, and that's why I wanted to have like this bit of an outro by saying to you, thank you that you're listening, and thank you that you're showing up, and thank you that you're liking this video, that you're writing me a message, that you even watch this. All of my social medias are down in the description. If you like my stuff that I post on YouTube, maybe you have found me through TikTok or YouTube or whatever, I want to encourage you to follow me on Instagram, because a lot of the times on Instagram stories I share a lot of very valuable messages. For example, a couple of days ago I shared some things that I think modern spirituality is trying to like brainwash us, basically. Like things like that. I share sometimes a lot of things, sometimes just my life, my aesthetic of life and what I'm doing, and maybe that can be interesting and inspirational for you. So I encourage you to follow my Instagram if you want to watch more of me. And there's a lot to come, so stay tuned. Before I end this episode, as you know, if you have watched my episodes, I will give you 3 action steps, which I call them action steps, but I actually give you 3 questions that you can ask to yourself based on the topic of the episode that will help you take the next steps. First question: in what ways you are fueling your own suffering? Kind of music are you listening, shows you're listening to, what kind of repeating thoughts there are that you feel like are not yours, and they're not yours. And I don't want to live these thoughts. I don't want to live this reality, you know? Ask yourself, in what ways am I fueling my own suffering? By accepting these thoughts, by listening to the slow vibrational music. Okay, second, take one expectation that you have for other people and that you have for yourself. These can be different expectations, or one, you have same expectations for other people as for yourself, and accept it. Accept it fully as it is right now. Drop that expectation right now. What is it in your life right now that you can take radical acceptance for? One thing in your life, whether it's about your relationships, about your self-esteem, about your physical reality, about your body, about your mind, your emotions, something that has happened to you, whatever it is. one thing that you can radically accept right now in this moment. I accept dot dot dot. So in 2 weeks, in Friday, there will be a next episode. I hope you join this journey and I hope you come along. And I know that in the process of listening to these episodes, you will live a better, more peaceful, more content, more abundant life. And I'm just so excited for you and for myself and for us as a collective. I love you. I hope you have a great day, great night, great morning, and blessings. Bye bye.